What's going on, everybody? This is our newest film room, and I gotta tell you, I'm really excited about this one because it lets me kind of look into the light in the future of what the Chiefs defense could be this season. Pretty early on, I think that we've seen a little bit of already a development in what they've been able to do. Spags is testing out some things, and I know that I was very hard on Steve Spagnuolo in that first half. He was not doing what he needed to do, and then when they finally got beat on that long touchdown, he finally said enough is enough, and he's not going to let it happen. So I want to go into the second half of this defensive game plan against the Chargers and really dig out how they finally got things going. Their run defense really started going. LA running backs only averaged 3.4 yards a carry against them. In the second half, they were really shut down, especially in short yardage situations. They did a really great job mixing up some of their coverages and kind of staying a little more static and true to themselves with a basic vanilla offense on the other side. Let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to look at here is just kind of how we are going to see the game plan change a little bit, okay? Just kind of watch how they end up coming out, because this is not typically Steve Spagnuolo. Too high safety we see already from the get-go, all right? So boom, here we go. Play starts. Nothing to do. Oh, nothing doing. Justin Reid being able to come down and make a play. That's different because he can see what's going on. He's not down in the line of scrimmage. As much as I think that he can impact the game as a robber-type player underneath, he is really a really great player to have off the line, being able to see everything unfold. Like, this is the kind of thing we were talking about with Mike Williams right here. We got two guys. Again, we have two high safeties, but we have a trigger man, okay? So Justin Reid is triggering downhill on Gerald Everett coming down this way, or coming on the short slant. So what the Chargers end up doing here is a little bit of a crossing routes, and they're just going to have to pass off as it happens. So you've got one guy. Sorry, this is actually Palmer coming this way. So you have crosser, you got a crosser, then you have a slant coming behind the linebackers moving, and you have a flat player too. So this is how they're running this out. It's crossers with the slant behind, because what you want to do as the Chargers is get the linebackers moving and open up this void where you can hit that slant, which is what he tries to do. He comes on it, he hits it right when you're supposed to. They actually do a good job of passing off, boom, boom. Of Mike Williams, it was on the crosser, so I mixed up those players. So you had Palmer doing the out route, or the corner route, and Williams underneath, trying to draw attention. That's what they were really trying to do. And then you have Reid being a playmaker, coming in and making a great play on the ball, timing that perfectly. But this comes down to the communication underneath, okay? Knowing that this play is coming, because you see, he doesn't just keep going back. They don't have a ton of speed in LA with the Chargers. They don't have a lot of speed, and there isn't anybody on this field that can threaten them vertically. So he sits and he waits. This is a very good concept, especially against cover two, because you can hit this right over the middle with a guy who's going to draw some attention in Mike Williams. But Justin Reid is right there to make a play on the ball on third down, forcing a punt. This is the kind of defense that I wanted to see more of. Play a little bit more zone. Let it unfold. Come in. Yeah, the pass rush wasn't great in this play, but whatever. When you can have good coverage on the back end, you're going to be able to cover up some of the pressure losses. And in the first half, they weren't able to do that. Not only did the Chiefs have issues with the pressure, but they were letting Mike Williams dunk on them all day. And when you don't have an adjustment in that first half to that end, it makes everything more magnified. All the pass rush issues were more magnified. So what the Chargers do next is they come out and they're going to make a shot play, okay? It's going to be a shot play. So you've got two tight ends to the left side, running back, two receivers, okay? Yeah, that was right. Two tight ends on the one side. Thought for some reason it was 13, but it's only 12. But again, they do a really good job of getting pressure on this play. It's only a half-field read for Justin Herbert anyway. And yeah, he completes this for a short yards gain where Colin Saunders is running down the field. But this is what I like to see. It's a full half-field read, okay? And Herbert's got to go. Like, he can't get out. Mike Dan is busy in his face. Rashad Fenton knows that this guy's only pass blocking. There's nobody here because there doesn't have to be. This is covered up. This is the adjustments that I wanted to see. You have a true deep safety. You got Juan Thornhill covering over this way. You have, L'Jarius Sneed, it looks like, and then you got all the linebackers just covering everything up. There's nowhere to go with this football. There's nowhere to go. Okay? So let's watch how George Karlaftis, Mike Dana, and Chris Jones look on this play, because I think it's a pretty impressive one from Mike Dana saying, you're going to block me with a tight end? I don't think so. But I like to see George Karlaftis get in there and push, Austin Eckler down to the ground. He does get back up. But again, delaying his process. Boom. Goodbye. Just discards him. And Jones is in there too. Like, they did a really good job of flushing him. And obviously Willie Gay with the missed tackle. But this is the better job of a missed tackle because he does force him back inside to his help. And again, Colin Saunders isn't going to be the best, fastest pass rusher in the world, but he can absolutely run down a running back or a receiver. I love seeing that from the big man, just getting down the line for a 1.5 yard gain. But this is really what I want to focus on, okay? If you're a defensive end and they stick a tight end on you thinking they can pass block you with them, beat them. I don't care what it takes. Mike Dana has been so improved, but look, you can't block me. They're trying to hold him back. They're literally trying to hold Chris Jones back because he is so fast between them that there's nothing they could do. But again, Mike Dana, boom. And then he discards him. Boom, look at this. This is the improvement of Mike Dana, even George Karlaftis, and Chris Jones under Cullen. He has done a great job of magnifying their strengths. And one thing that I think that Mike Dana does really well is locate hands and extend and explode with everything through. Again, he is just manhandling Trey McKitty right here. And then he discards him. They force Herbert out of the pocket. Nothing he can do. Again, short yard gain. I love watching Colin Saunders in the open field too. That dude is just a special athlete with his foot quickness and his foot speed. But this was a good job staying home from George Karlaftis. Avoid the little glitch there. Nothing I can do about that. But this was such a smart play. I just want to get it in here really quickly so you guys can understand. The Chargers have been doing this play action game where they run this like stretch with a fullback lead, and it ends up being a bootleg. And it had been so successful. Like, they did it in the first half to no avail. They were able to just do whatever they wanted to with it. But this is a really good job of staying home. He doesn't go downhill. He doesn't fall for the lead option here. And then we know we have the the fullback out of the backfield. That's what they want to hit because you have a linebacker scraping across. Now you've got Mike Williams coming on across there. This is the kind of play that was daggering them in the first half. And the play action fakes didn't fool George Karlaftis this time in the second half. An adjustment, learning on the run was what George Karlaftis did. And he forced an errant throw from Justin Herbert, who couldn't escape him. He closed very quickly, and again, a very good job recognizing this was happening, this was coming. Staying home with the athletic quarterback, like, look, he's just like, you're not throwing this football, man. You are not doing it. The Chiefs were able to do this a couple times on this specific drive, and I'd like to see it. We're going to see another one right here with Willie Gay. But again, notice, you're not beating us. We're going to force you to make underneath throws, to stay vanilla, to be a predictable offense, which they already are. Like I said, without Keenan Allen, the Chargers have a very predictable offense. They don't have anyone that can uncover quickly. They have to use scheme. They have to use motion. They don't have any guys that can just open up quickly. Mike Williams doesn't do that. Joshua Palmer doesn't do that. Their best yak guys are their tight end and their running back, which we saw in the second half because the Chiefs forced them to use them more on the defensive side. They didn't get beat down the field. But again, understanding what is coming. Another play action fake. All right. And the Chargers loved to do these play action fakes. And again, not being fooled by it. They did a really nice job here. Really, Willie Gay did a good job of staying in the passing lane because there's two options. You had Palmer quick on the wheel route, but he's got to lead him. And that's going to, if he can bullet throw it in here, he's got if Herbert can bullet throw it in here, he's got a much higher chance of completing this pass with how far off Watson is. Like, you have a much better option of that happening, but Willie Gay's in the passing lane. So that's not happening. So you also have, here, I can hit him if he's coming over, he's coming across. I can hit him if he's coming back. But what's happening here? Willie Gay's right in the way. You can't do anything. These athletes, they're everywhere. They got long arms, they're fast. And I think he did a really good job of breaking down and making sure right there that he saw Gerald Everett coming across. And so he gives just a little head fake towards Gerald Everett. Perfect. It's great. It's a great job. And he wants to throw this ball, but he can't. There's no one there. And they end up, getting a tip pass. And that's another tip pass. It's 2 in a row on this drive that they had. It's a great job. Really great fundamental football brain intelligence. Willie Gay is really starting to pick up defense. He's really starting to understand offensive schemes and where they're coming in. I think that they did a great job in the second half executing a much much more precise game plan than they had in the first half. It was so much fun to watch. And then we just get to marvel in the player that Chris and all these guys are. Like Chris Jones in his face, but what it comes down to is short yardage, okay? Short yardage stuff. Again, you're going to notice too high safety. He wants to go here with the ball. He wants to go somewhere. Like they got a good job with supplemental pass rush. Chris Jones is in the pocket here. Carlos Dunlap is forcing a throw quickly. Like you have, on DeAndre Carter out here. But again, this is short. Right now when he's about to throw the ball, you can't throw the ball. It's not open. Willie Gay's going to pick that off probably. No one's open. But they did an excellent job of funneling everything underneath. That's the big takeaway that I have from this defense and this game plan, is because without their their understanding of funneling everything underneath, this game would have probably gotten out of hand a little bit in the second half. But they did, again, a good job of what defenses have done against the Chiefs. Be patient. You have to hit everything underneath. You have to be perfect with it, or you're going to lose. But again, Steve Spagnuolo finally took a page out of some of the other defenses that they've seen's book, and good for them for finally understanding if they can funnel things underneath, but especially without their best player in Keenan Allen, you're going to find ways to be successful. Another player I want to talk about really quickly, Carlos Dunlap, who did a much better job of supplementing some pass rush. Look, that was a very quick outside move that just all footwork, because he's high in his stance, okay? He's shoulder pad, his pad level is not great. Right here it's up, it's high, but again, just a little shimmy, and then boom, I'm out. That's something that the Chiefs haven't had. They don't have a whole lot of that. So if they can continue to rotate these guys in and get some more supplemental pass rush, I know it took some injuries on the offensive line to get some pass rush on the Chargers, but again, they did a good job of taking advantage of what was given to them. And then we have Chris Jones being Chris Jones in the second half, which is one of the big things I want to talk about, because I know what you're going to say. He's a little offsides, okay? Yeah, right there. He is definitely a little offside. Didn't get called. Sometimes you get lucky. And what he does here is he's so quick inside, he allows Leo Chanel to make this play. If he is teamed up on this double team, so right here, if he gets blocked, okay, so they're going to push. This is a zone run, so a zone in this direction, okay? They're all moving this way. That means that this double team gets to Jones, and it's going to be pushed this way into Leo Chanel. That's what happens. So, by knifing right here, past the guy, the double team, it forces this player to get upfield and creates a gigantic hole that Leo Chanel can now fill. See, when you have to reach a linebacker in space like that, when there's, the double here and Chris Jones is doing this, it's just so much easier for Leo to come underneath, okay? Just knifes in underneath, makes a play, and obviously Willie Gay also in on that play. They did a good job of letting the linebackers fill in gaps in that second half of the game, which is what you're looking for. You need to have supplemental linebacker filling gaps, and they did a good job of, again, allowing only 2-3 yards on some of these plays. And Chris Jones having a day in the second half is really what led to them being successful and getting more pass rush. More involved on the run defense too. Like, they were just way better. But I mean, there's nothing you can really say about how good Chris Jones is when he's on an island with some of these players. I think there was a technical sack earlier from him, but this one is just, it's absurd. It's just so Justin Herbert wasn't even at the top of his drop yet when he won. He wasn't even there yet. He got beat. He beat his man so quickly. Even Frank Clark are on the edge on Rashawn Slater. He couldn't get there, but again, he showed more burst there. But Chris Jones so fast Justin Herbert had no chance on this play. He had no chance. By the time he got to his drop, the back of his drop, Chris Jones was in his lap. One there. He had to move off of his spot. And Chris Jones finishes. That's what they need. Isolate the weakness, okay? And again, you guys are going to see this a lot. The NASCAR package, here it is. It's a function of it. You've got George Karlaftis, Mike Dana, Chris Jones, and Frank Clark. That's going to be what you see more of. I know that Mike got put to the ground here, but he absolutely took Zion Johnson to the cleaners a few times, something that Chris Jones couldn't do. So there's some improvement there, but they're having a good time. They are looking like they can really improve defensively. But once again, the big theme here, they pinned their head. They pinned everything back. They pass rushed. We got two guys back here. It doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be that hard. Keep everything in front of you, much like the teams have done against the Chiefs with the high-powered offensive quarterbacks that you have. Find a way to isolate that weakness and exploit it. And Chris Jones absolutely did. Steve Spagnuolo, tip of the cap to him because it took him a while. You've only seen Mike Williams forever, but they finally figured out the best way to utilize their players in situations like this. So, against teams like the Bengals, like the Rams, maybe not so much the Rams. They're not really going to chuck it downfield a whole lot. Allen Robinson may be a little bit different, but some of those teams that have a quarterback that will throw the ball down the field, the Bills, perhaps. Maybe we start to see a little bit more of that creep into their game plan, especially with finding ways to utilize this NASCAR package a little bit more. They're going to get more pass rush, and they're going to find ways to chip away at these offensive lines. So I'm excited to see, because this is week 2. This is week 2, and we've already seen more different things from Steve Spagnuolo than he really has shown all of last year, and continue to get beat by the same people over and over again. We have a little bit of a tweak now. There's a little bit of a tweak. You have speed, you have athletic ability, and you have a defense that's starting to gain confidence and understanding of the system and the offenses that they're playing. The ceiling could be very high for this defense. Maybe not this year, but right now I think the way that they played against the Chargers, if they play like that, they're going to be a very good defense in the next year. 100%. There's a lot of ceiling to be tapped from this defense. Again, when you have the youth and you have the determination to finally be a better unit, addition with Joe Cullen, or being that defensive line coach and being a focal point of them getting better, I think that this whole defense has a ceiling that I didn't realize until just now. So that's awesome to see. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please hit that like, the bell, and the sub. If you guys have anything you guys want to see for next week, remember, you can always hit me up, especially with those In Harm's Way videos that I do every week. If you want something specific, let me know on Twitter at In Harm's Way 19. Make sure you tune in. We're going to continue to have more content for the week for you. We got Done and Done coming up. We have Chief in the North. We have the game plan, all that stuff ready for you guys the rest of the week. Colts on Sunday. Let's go. You guys have a great day.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more, and subscribe to RGR Football.